taking a sick day or needing a mental health day?
Well, you're not able to.
What are your thoughts on it? Taking mental health days. Working on your mental health as a bartender.
I think they're necessarily 100%.
Instead of going and just taking a shot during your break and getting your shit together.
Bro, let's go take a shot.
You know what I mean? It'll be out. We gotta get back.
Let's go have a shift meeting. Nah, I mean, like, they're just as necessary for anybody who works in any type of industry. I think whether they're as accessible to us or not, it just highly depends on who you work for, you know, like what type of environment you work for. Because the other day, I heard that someone took the day off at my job. They called out for a mental health day. And I was like, wait a minute. Whoa, we can do that.
And welcome back to the other side of the glass. It's your boy, Ronnie.
It's your boy, Joewell.
And yeah, man, picking up right where we left off, bro. Like work, life, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I can honestly say I'm so happy I didn't get to the deep end of being an alcoholic. Like I tiptoed on that deep end.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because
like,
you could have hit bottom.
Bro, but even I'm talking about longevity. Like, you know what I mean? You talking about the Michael Jordan aspect of it. I'm talking about the LeBron James of being an alcoholic.
Oh, shit.
The career stats.
Yo, yeah, you mean like, you know, just the...
Two divorces, you know what I mean?
Man.
4 kids that hate you. Like,
you could have went for a phenomenal run. or a generational type run, if you will.
That's crazy, bro.
But
people don't talk about that enough, bro. Like the negatives that people go through, like... I mean, they're equivalents to
the type of loss that you're gonna go through, like not just fiscally, but like, you know, you burning bridges with all these type of people too.
Hella people along that way, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
because honestly, like alcoholism and gambling, like tying together. You know what I mean? Once you involve money in whatever relationship, and you're causing somebody to lose it, bro, that you're burning that bridge slowly, and the slower you burn it, the longer you like have lost it forever. If that makes sense.
100%. Whenever you look at people who have kind of, you know, appear to be at bottom and things like that, I can't help but think, but like, man, how many hands did you smack away that were trying to help you along the? I mean, because if someone tried, I mean, even if you got nobody, like there was somebody who saw you at one point and wanted to give you the assistance you needed, but you said no.
You still was able to get an opportunity. Like I would say, like everybody's given an opportunity.
Unless you got like zero family, and
but
like,
even then, like
you know.
Bro, like if you're trying, I find it very hard to believe that, you know what I mean, the world isn't going to throw you a loop. Even if it's in the form of like a passerby or, you know what I mean, a job opportunity or, you know what I mean? Granted, you still got to take the steps towards it.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just be on that. You can't just continue to be
Everybody doesn't got a mom and dad that's just going to bail them out of every situation.
Exactly. Like, shit. I mean, I got a mom and dad, but they're by no means going to be able to help me financially. They're you know, they don't have much to provide me other than like, you know, just a place to crash when I need it, you know, stuff like that, or whatever they can, you know. But it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna pay for you to get into rehab, and you know, we'll, you know, cover whatever costs.
And see, and that's the thing, like when you get to that point with that kind of background, like it's like, are you really somebody who went through it?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I can't speak on that because,
like, I know that's a very bold statement to say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because everybody's journey is
different.
Everyone's journey to sobriety is different.
100%, bro.
And
who the fuck am I to say nothing, bro? The bottle can get a hold of anybody. You know what I mean?
You know. Well,
I'd say if anything too, like I'm just happy that there weren't any lifelong consequences that came with the journey that I went on.
Yeah, like you never got convicted of anything.
You know what I mean? Like some life
anything
impact.
crazy on your record.
Like none of that shit.
Didn't lose a job because of it.
Oh no, I've for sure lost plenty of jobs due to drinking. I got fired from 3 in 1 year.
I mean, but not like, you know, nothing that kind of, you know.
Yeah,
they were all the type of.
I didn't do no weird shit.
They were all the type. Yeah, well, they weren't things that aren't redeemable, is what I'm saying, or they weren't in like. In an industry where you can't like come back from, you know, and that's, I guess, one of the fortunate parts of being in our industry is, you know, is that you have.
There's a lot of leeway.
There's a lot of leeway. There's a lot of room for redemption. You know?
A lot of room for redemption. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, it's like a little bubble. Like it's not like, to keep it a buck, bro. It's not like I went over here and overcame some huge bridge. Like, nah, bro. I just went and got my shit together, like as most people in their 20s do.
Yeah,
you feel me? Like,
but I mean, sometimes that's all. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes for you to excel at what you're pursuing. You know, I've rapped with a lot of bartenders who like kind of stepped away from drinking, whether they're taking a break or whether they stepped away from it entirely. or just, just the drugs or anything like that. And, they said like that was the moment that their game, elevated, as far as like becoming knowledgeable or getting to the place where they wanted to be, because they were, were able to put the bullshit to the side, and kind of lock in.
I mean, bro, to be honest with you, like, it's crazy. I should not have eaten that peanut butter one. But it's crazy because it's so easy to get pulled into this cycle just because of accessibility and how much shit like you can get off the drop of a dime. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the party section of the soft white underbelly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and we just the curators of the fun.
Yeah, no. But yeah, but we're because we're the curators of the fun, when does that fun stop? Or when do we like, draw the line and,
draw a line in the sand.
Draw the line. We'll draw the line and create those boundaries so that we understand like, okay, this is like time to make money here. Yeah. And have fun. And then like, you can have your fun after if you want to continue doing that. And then when does that stop? Does that stop all the way until my next shift?
Yeah. Or, I feel that. Not to get all serious or whatnot, like you just recently experienced a loss. And you were talking about, well, I'll just let you go ahead and, you know what I mean, talk about that along with, work-life balance. And
yeah, no, 100. So about like a couple weeks ago, I had lost, my family had gone through a loss. Someone in the family very close to us, my grandmother, just passed. And this is about maybe a couple weeks ago. I want to say all this took place between the last time we recorded and now. We lost her and then we buried her on her birthday.
Rest in peace.
And yeah. So
on her birthday?
Yeah. Well, they waited to do the barrier on her birthday.
I mean, but still, like,
she was
how old was she?
97. So she lived a long time.
97 whole years.
Yeah, bro. Imagine being like having lived that long.
Well, what?
I can't.
29, you're 33?
I don't want to live that long, bro. I say that over
60
and over
years
again.
from now?
Yeah. Yeah, 6. Yeah. Something like that. I don't want to live that long, bro.
That's how you know somebody, that's how you know it's right. When you're like something like that, it's exactly like that. You're like, I ain't that old.
But yeah. You put it to rest. And, all this was happening during, of course, I didn't take any time off work to take the time to go visit her in the hospital. I did go do that in between going to work and stuff like that because I still needed to do that. I couldn't just take the time off to be at her side even when they sent her home for the home care hospice type deal. So she was in the hospital and then they sent her home.
How long was she in hospice for?
Probably like 3 days.
3 days.
And then she one morning she stopped breathing, and so that was it. And they came to get her. And then I remember having to go to work. I remember waking up that morning. Everyone had been at the house all day. She had stopped breathing around 10 something. And then I went to go see her. Went to was there for my for my mom and my family and stuff like that. And then I had to get ready to go to work. And then I went to work that evening. And when I came back home that night, she had been gone.
Damn.
So, that all sounds crazy, but like, I mean,
how do you go through a shift like that?
It was for me personally, the way I deal with grief and the way I kind of just, handled, such a traumatic event like that is like, I deal with it in my own way. I like to be alone for the most part. So I guess having so much of my family around me at the time made it so that I couldn't really express or feel anything.
You felt like you were holding stuff in?
I felt like I was being strong for my mom, just because I'm not the type to get all start crying in front of people. Yeah. Nothing wrong crying at all. I do it all the time. I just do it by myself. And yeah, no, I had to go to work and then came back and then, woke up the next day. I had to go to work the next day and then come back. But
now in a situation like that, like how do you maintain energy towards a guest? Like, do you treat I
don't bring it to work with me at all.
Do you treat work as an escape from reality at that point?
And when times like that, hell yeah, I did. I was low key, looking forward to going to work. because, you know, I was able to like, you know, kind of just
check out of reality for a second.
Check out of reality, you know, delve into my job, into my work, and just, you know, focus, maybe, you know, deliver good experiences for people that came that day. You know, maybe even like spark some creativity within me to, you know, create something cool or something beautiful. But I feel like, you know, I can't be the only one who, like, you know, who does that or feel that way, especially in our industry, because, you know, our industry is one that we don't get a lot of, you know, we don't get a lot of the time off we need to you know, deal with death, handle grief, and, you know, and I'm not saying that there's like a timeline that needs to take place in. I mean, hell, people. I mean, I could still be grieving for all I know, and on some days I am. But
I mean, it just happened.
I still need, and I still need to go to work. We still need to all show up, you know, to this place, and because we're in hospitality, that can't be the place to drop off at, you know, or that can't be the place to like necessarily crash out. Yeah. If you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, you can.
A lot of people do.
But I mean,
you're dealing with a lot of other people's days now.
If that happens and you do, I would highly suggest you do take that time, you know, because, you know, I think in that situation and you know, though your coworkers will rally around you and lift you up. Yeah. You know, they'll be like, hey man, like, you know, go home, you know, take the time off, get out of here, you know, do what you need. You know, you're not doing us any favors by being here and, you know,
lashing out to guests,
not being 100%, not being able to lock in, you know, not, you know, cause it, like I said, we're in the hospitality business and like, you know, it's our money, you know, no offense, but you're not as good to us unless you're like, you know,
on your A game is here.
Your A game is here, you know? And so I feel like, yeah, that's one of the few instances where, you know, your coworkers will, you know, rally around you. Even in times, not even with death, but like, you know, you need just that mental break, or, you know, you're going through it emotionally for whatever reason, like, you know, take that time, because, you know, like, this is a job where it requires so much of you and more.
Yeah.
That if you're not being able, if you can't, you know, give it your all, if you will, for lack of better words, then, you know, I'd rather have somebody else there, or I'd rather, like, you know, not have you here and then you just come back on another day so we can figure this out.
I'd rather be down one person while maintaining the aura and the energy and maintaining this level of service versus having you here and you're just fucking everything.
And then even on the flip side, like, it's not even so much about, like, I mean, the flip side of after, like, you know, it's about, you know, being able to lock in. It's about delivering this experience that we're supposed to be doing. It's about making the money. I want to make sure you're okay too. Like, you know, fuck all the rest, bro. Like, if you, like, you know, you got to take care of yourself, you know, and I want you to just be okay as a person, you know. Like, I think, you know, too many times, like, people, like, you know, kill themselves over a job, but like, it's just a job. You know, this is just a job, what we do, especially.
But you say it is just a job. But you say it is just a job. Oh, Joewell, you.
And if it turns out this job ain't, like, you're not able to find that balance, then maybe you need to find a different job where you can maintain that.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
It isn't for everybody, and that's why you know, I added that last part at the end. So it's like, you know, if you find yourself, you know, struggling to, you know, maintain that balance, then, you know, then I'd highly recommend you find something else to do.
Because think about, like, the emotional control, but also the emotional note. Like, was it the capability to understand it within yourself, to be able to balance it with what you're dealing with, knowing that this guest coming at you isn't coming at you because you just had this loss, or because you have this problem with your spouse back home. Right. This guest and you is a separate interaction.
Yeah, but you gotta be able to, like, it's almost like in a weird way, emotional muscle memory in a way, because you got to be able to make yourself understand that when it's being given to you, like when it's being given to you in real time. Because I know you're able to say that and you're able to explain that to me, but how are you going to act in that moment? Can you regulate yourself, you know, per incident when that happens? Or are you just going to be, like, snapping and having to apologize and backpedal every time?
I'll say
that ain't gonna work either.
Oh, 100%, bro. Honestly, for me, like that shit was a learning experience. Enough moments had to happen over time to like, you know what I mean? You crash out enough times, you're like, all right, bro. And it's not like I'm a fucking crash out, but it's one of those like...
Hey, it's okay, just be a crash out, bro.
But
once you accept that you are, then life just becomes easier.
Life's just easier.
I'm a crash out. Bro. I just don't do it as often now.
and it's just one of those like you just picking and choosing like what to get mad at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like this, I mean, and when I say crash out, I mean like maybe not even in the traditional like or like the satirical sense that we see like through memes on Instagram or through movies and stuff like that. When I think of crashing out, I think of like I tend to just spiral with my emotions and I just start to like, just allow them to just pop off within myself.
So just an emotional crash out.
I don't necessarily act out in my crash out.
Yeah, you know,
like not 100% all the time. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it slips out, but like I don't necessarily just like I'm not gonna just pick up that phone and hit that person up and just let them know how I feel. I'm not gonna just like flip over that table, or I'm not gonna like But those invasive thoughts allow them to like get to me emotionally, and I internalize it, and then I feel like shit, and so that's what I mean when I do crash out.
I feel that. I mean, bro, like an emotional crash out is still a crash out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you still going through it in your fucking head.
It feels real. It is
real. Just to you. It's just to you.
It's my perception.
And it's my perception.
It's my perception, and if it's my perception is my reality, then it did happen.
You feel me?
Or it is happening. But yeah, no,
that's what everybody in the psych ward says.
But yeah, no, like and I want to drive. I want to drive that point home with like we are in the hospitality business, so like if we show up to work and we're giving this experience to people. That experience is at a not a necessarily a high level, but it's at a level where it's like they're going through their own shit and they come here so that you can kind of change what they got going on
in their
day-to-day life. So it's like if I'm crashing out and you're crashing out, like fuck. Well, I'm paying to be here.
I'm paying you.
I'm paying you. Someone's got to take a step back real quick, or else let's switch places, bro.
Here's my money. Let me crash out.
Here, let me be the bartender now. You can sit your, But yeah, you can't you
can't crash out when you're getting paid, bro.
You can't serve people with an empty cup, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, you can't pour from an empty.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
And that's what we're basically doing sometimes, is that when we don't refill our own cup, we're basically pouring from an empty one, and they're paying for nothing now.
At that point, I mean, bro,
they're not paying for a damn thing now.
They get in the lesser half version of you. So even if you're giving them A1, except like when you argue with somebody and the manager comes like, bro, I wasn't even tripping on him, but you was tripping on him. But you know what I mean? Yes, you was. But energetically, he knew you said all the right things. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't say nothing wrong, but the two people that were in that conversation felt the trip out. You know what I mean? But so like that's the back half of the empty cup that they getting. Yeah, I feel you. But now here's the other side, right? The other side of the glass, the coin, everything. But how does being a bartender for you? Because now you've been in this shit for you approaching a decade in a couple years.
Nah, it's been over a decade. It's like almost 11 years now.
Damn, bro.
It's almost 11 years now. It'll be 12 like sometimes this year.
Shit, bro. I guess I was speaking for myself.
Yeah, no. A decade for you?
No, 7 years.
Okay. You come along.
Well, as a bartender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
because hospitality, you've been like,
over a decade, 11 years.
Spaghetti factory, right?
God, bro. Don't remind me. But yeah, so in that time that you know what I mean, you've been in relationships, had friendships and everything. How do you feel being in nightlife, being a bartender? Not even just nightlife, just being a bartender, because you know what I mean, you just have different schedules than most people. How does it affect your relationships?
It affects them whether I acknowledge it does or not. Because if I wasn't doing this line of work, then I'll just have them. Let me put it like this. So I guess it depends on what type of relationship we're talking about here. Because if it's like you're talking about platonic relationships, or we're talking about like romantic ones.
Let's start with platonic.
Okay, so platonic ones, like friends. I find a lot of my friends to be of the industry.
Now is that because you're in the industry?
It helps a lot. It helps out a lot because I'm in the industry. I'll say short answer is yes. To elaborate on that, yeah, because they tend to understand the rest, all the other facets of my life without, me having to explain too much. And their availability always seems to be of the same time that mine is because of the days we work and the hours we work. Do you know what I mean?
So they are a product of your work environment.
Yeah.
And now let me ask you this. Now, do you feel like the relationships that we have within the industry, right? Compare them to like an office relationship. Mm-hmm. Those lines of that boundary, we're kind of talking off air about, you know what I mean? There's certain lines that get crossed and then it's certain gray. There's a lot of gray areas in this industry.
Yeah, there's like I would say it's all gray.
It's all gray, bro.
It's different just shades of gray. Like if it's if there's like a line that's black in a room that's white, and we can call that like, the professionalism and non-professionalism line. And that's where most of the work world operates within that. Yeah. It's very clear, right?
Yeah,
that side is not, that side you don't do. This side you do. This side you don't like.
As a bartender,
for the bartenders are serving or in hospitality, the whole room's just gray, bro.
It's like you don't do that, but I mean,
you could.
That makes sense why you did it though,
right? Yeah, I can see why you did, or like or like you could do that, but it's gonna come with these types of consequences that don't necessarily mean you're gonna lose your job, but shit, your shit's gonna suck from moving on forward from now, or things that like you think that weren't as ill-intentioned as they were, but then now and then that's the type of shit you lose your job over now.
Facts.
Because I will say like just not all firings are fair firings, or like not all reasons why people are let go are motivated or fueled through like
malice
or just such clear-cut guidelines. You know what I mean?
I feel that. It just so like two people could commit the same things, but if the situations are different,
exactly. Like we both agree that like showing up to work late is not okay, right? But because like you're an underperformer and they're like a high seller, it's like, you know what? This is gonna be your last time Ronnie showing up late. Yeah. Got to go. But wait, Kira showed up fucking, like it's just as late as I am sometimes too. But like, yeah, but she, she's doing everything else in these fields to make it like appropriate for her for us to want to keep her. Yeah.
Keep in mind that was a fictional situation. None of that is actually happening.
I mean,
everybody at SB2, we come in and perform equally the same, and we are A1 to day one.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you for that. Like, throw a little disclaimer at the bottom. Like,
so going back, right? You've established that a lot of your friends, I mean, even for me, like a lot of the relationships that I've had are somehow tied to the industry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, do you find, because obviously everybody has that wake up call when they're like, oh, wow, these weren't really my friends. And usually it's either when you first lose your job, when you stop coming around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those reasons are very quick, and the turnover are like the cutoff is crazy quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I've had insane experience, but I've seen it happen to other people. You know what I mean? I've had my own situations, but like I've seen like people like, damn, bro, like you just been blacklisted.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. I mean, guests out there think that like, you think there's a lot of uncertainty about whether a bartender likes you or not. Imagine working with the motherfucker for a while and thinking that you guys are cool, and then all of a sudden it turns out y'all not. It's like, damn, I thought we were cool.
And one situation just shows you their true colors.
Yeah, or like, I don't work like for whatever reason I don't work now, and then I come around and like, now you just don't know me. I'm not even coming here to be hooked up, but like, I just came to say hi.
Yeah.
I didn't know those. It's not like that, but okay. Whatever.
But you have to also realize sometimes in those situations, it depends how you carried yourself in the past.
True.
Because that, like, I've definitely
it could be a work ethic thing.
You know what I mean?
But then it's like, for me, you could be a shitty worker, bro.
Talk about somebody you work with. Yeah.
You could be a shitty worker, bro. And, but once we don't work with each other anymore, we could be cool. Or like, that had nothing to do with me now.
Yeah. Nah, facts.
I'm not going to hold that against you as a person, like moving forward in the world when I see you.
The shit that, I mean, like, it's
most of the people I know that I used to work with were shitty workers, bro.
But those are the best people. Yeah. Some of the shittiest workers have been some of the best people.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the best workers have been some of the shittiest people.
That's why I'll never work with them again. But we can be friends forever. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Funny. But then I think that translates to like, you know, I think it gets awkward when it translates to like, you know, hey, bro, like, you know, is your job hiring? Like, nah, we're actually good right now, bro. Like,
I know why you.
Or like someone asks you, like, hey, so they put you down as a reference. What do you think about them? Like, I just was dead ass. Like, hey, don't hire him, bro. Don't hire him. Don't put yourself through that. This ain't what you want.
This ain't what you want.
This ain't what you want.
But nah, so how like, I guess maybe with like, you know what I mean? Friendships and platonic relationships, it's a little easier because you can navigate in and out.
Yeah.
But how about like personal relationships, like romantic relationships? You know what I mean? Like, do you find yourself dating within the industry?
Yes. Because almost like, so this is the interesting thing is like, yeah, it's almost the same reason is because as much as I tell myself I'm not going to do it anymore either, it always just ends up happening again, bro. Because it's like they're there, and they're not there. Like, I'm not talking about dating coworkers, bro. Like, although that tends to fucking happen sometimes too, and I swore I'll never do it again, and I won't do it again. But they just understand the lifestyle, and I don't have to typically go too much into explaining why things are a certain way, or, you know, how come that, you know, my regular's hugging me, you know, or how come, you know, this is that, or, you know, just why you out so late, you know.
I feel that. I feel like that also kind of like goes back to like somebody that's able to even just understand, you know what I mean? Like for me, I've dated within the industry, but like I've never like fully been able to take that shit seriously because I'm like, you ain't got no end goal. You know what I mean? Now, what you're talking about with an industry, you've been exposed to different people within this bartending world.
Right.
That you see people that are doing more shit than just fucking bartending on the weekends.
Right. 100%.
Like, you've seen ambition in those fields. Like, I haven't.
True.
Like, I see the people that pull up and I'm like,
is that what you look for when you date people?
What, ambition?
I mean, I guess now or just in general.
Ambition?
Yeah.
100%.
How long has that been a thing? Forever, or like, you know?
I mean, I think subconsciously it's been
because
forever.
You're younger than me, and so like I'll be honest with you right now is that for me it's I've always just been kind of just going off, you know, just strictly vibes and emotion. Yeah. You know when fucking with somebody, like
I feel you 100%.
Could this be a cultural thing? I mean,
bro. Like with me, put it this way. Like,
I'm just trying to kind of wrap my head around why
ambition, right?
Why you said that, and I never really thought that until like maybe a year or two ago. So
it's one of those this is all my thinking recently as far as me reflecting on my 20s. Like I've been doing a lot of as this little turn of the decade, you know what I mean? But I think that for the longest, even the relationships that I were up until this point, deep down, I knew they weren't going to last because I knew that I was in a state where I'm not doing nothing with my life. Right. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really moving the way I needed to move. And even though I didn't know at the time what that was, like shit wasn't coming to me because I was in a certain state of life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that like, damn, bro, like my bottom is a lot of these people's tops. Like, you feel me? But like, if you cool with living like that and you don't like, that's dope. We can be friends. But you asking me like for me to sit down and be like, hey, ma, you know what I mean? My mom is a hustler, bro. You know what I mean? You talk about ambition. Like this mom, like she was a corporate woman and a housewife at the same time for fucking 50, 40 years. So the pressure's on then. Yeah, on who on whoever you date. Yeah, you feel me? I'm not tripping. But I also know what's realistic and what's not. Like if you're not ambitious, like I can't build with you. Cause then also on top of that, like I got my I love bartending, bro, and I love I love everything about this, but it's like I got other shit I want to do too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. And it's one of those like if I'm just coming back and you just sitting there on your ass and it's like you got nothing you want to do except just go to work and come back and just chill, go grab a drink, and then you know what I mean? It's a cycle. Like that's not me shitting on it. That's a cycle, and it's one of those like maybe right now where I'm at, I'm trying to break out of that cycle completely, and I feel like
you can do that.
I don't know, bro, because it's not me shitting on with like because when you were bringing up you dating within it and you understand it, I'm understanding what you're saying because you're exposed to a different demographic of people in this industry. Well,
even before that though, like I would say, even especially before that though, too. Yeah. It never really crossed my mind on that kind of stuff, and maybe that's because like we were both in the same position where it's like, what kind of dude would I be to be passing judgment on somebody who's like literally doing the same thing I'm doing? Yeah, maybe they're even doing it better than I'm doing it.
But as long as you acknowledging your own fuck ups, you can pass judgment on whoever.
I try not to do that.
No, 100%. Like, but it's one of those. But just be prepared when they come back. Like, no. Like you better be ready to take it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know, and like I said, like there's nothing wrong with that. I just never, I never really considered that. But back then, was like, I can't. Me dating someone in the industry is like, just for
shits and giggles.
Just for shits and giggles.
Like, you're having a good, bro, it's fun. Trust me. Like, I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
But like, starting a family, unless like, and I'm not saying you like within the industry you can't, bro. I've met dope ass people within the industry. I just feel like it's super diluted to where I know percentage wise, if I fuck with somebody in the industry, percentage wise, what type of outcome is going to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you have your goals and you know you want to be. So, I mean, that makes sense.
You feel me? Tune in next time for Ronnie gonna talk shit on you. Oh, bro.
For the judgment passed on by Ron.
But now let me ask you this.
What's up?
Does working in hospitality make it harder for you to have a routine outside of work?
I don't think it necessarily does. I think it really does make it easy for you to have a routine outside of work. I think that comes down to the individual. I know me, myself, like I have a terrible routine outside of work, but that's strictly on me and my bad habits. But yeah, no, I think you can 100% have a routine outside of hospitality because a lot of our schedules are kind of set in stone by the week. So you kind of have you have your shifts that are going to be the same, all the time. So you basically just got to set your shit around that. Yeah. Whether that's like going to the gym, whether that's like finding time to hang out with your significant other or make time for your family, you just gotta like be disciplined in that.
With the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you do it. So like, I've seen your schedule. I mean, you don't watch TV shows, which I think is crazy, but.
I mean, I do.
What do you watch though?
2 Point TV. Check it out.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? We got 2 Point.
What good shows are you watching right now though?
To be honest, bro,
Nothing,
Cassandra.
What the fuck is that?
Cassandra, fire ass show actually, bro.
Not you recommending me shit,
bro. We gonna take a moment to talk about Cassandra, fire ass show, right? So it's based.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a German show. So you got to watch it with an English audio, unless you know German. I don't know German, so I watch it with English audio.
Okay.
But so this mom, Samira, she buys a house for her and her family, and it's an old 1970s smart home operated house.
Okay.
They moved there because their the mom's younger sister, she committed suicide. Long story, they'll get into that. So they moved here for a fresh start or whatnot. You know what I mean? Cassandra is the robot that runs the house. So it's like a little robot, but it's also TVs in all the rooms of the house.
So, like
so she AI can, it's a whole AI operated. So even though the robot is here in the kitchen, right? If you're in the bedroom, she can still talk to you because there's a monitor in there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay. Who's in this?
Nobody that you know or I know.
Okay.
But it's a fire ass show.
I'll peep it.
I ain't gonna lie. It's one of those like, you gotta let it just build, bro. Because it's like, there's a lot of like once you get to episode 4 or 5.
No.
And the whole meaning behind all this and like the backstories is fucking crazy. And it really gets you thinking about like moving your conscience.
Man, okay. I'm sold. I'm gonna try to peep that within like, because a lot of my shows are ending right now, so I'm gonna need something.
Contracts up.
I'm gonna need to pick something up soon.
You're a free agent, y'all.
You gotta watch Severance on Apple TV. Severance, Apple TV Plus.
What's it about?
So basically the premise is like, there's two different, like you go to work and there's two different consciousnesses of you. There's you at work and then there's you when you come home. You don't remember anything that happens to you at work, inside work. But there's another person. It's still you working. But
so it's like split.
They'll work you, and then you come home and you just once you come down the elevator, your mind switches back to regular you.
So it's like split,
almost in a way,
but just with two personalities, or
well, basically that's.
Or is it two different consciousness in one body?
Two different consciousnesses in one body.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, and that's like it's like.
And they don't know about each other.
They don't know each other. Like so, you don't know. You're they call them the innies. Your innie doesn't know anything about the outtie's life, and the outie doesn't know what's working life for the innies, but. This company that does it, that's running this whole thing and running the whole severance program, they're doing some shady shit, and the innies are trying to let the outies know hey, some shit's going down in here and this and that, but also they're trying to get sent,
It's just called Severance.
Severance, yeah. It's like probably one of the greatest shows that's on TV right now.
I bet I ain't gonna lie. I think we found a new show.
Yeah, no, dude. It's
that shit is okay.
No,
because that's right up my alley. Bro.
That's what I'm saying,
that's
bro.
Right up my alley.
You would fuck with this shit, bro. Like it brings into all these questions of basically what we're talking about now. Like being the whole premise of it is are you able to cut off trauma? It starts off with work, but then this company is working towards basically how can we sever all types of events that you don't want to go through, like maybe childbirth. Can you fucking
just skip past?
Can you skip past that? Can you skip past traumatic events, surgery, things the people don't want to go through.
Yeah.
And so they're doing tests on people in there for that kind of shit. But the whole point is we can't you can't just skip past these events and stuff like that because they're what make us in a way. So
damn, okay,
or that it's still trauma still seeps through or surfaces to our regular lives, even though we try to ignore it.
Bro, my bad. Hold up. So years.
Bro, you'll like it.
Bro, so Paradise.
I was going to tell you about that next.
Yeah, bro.
Finally.
Bro, great fucking movie, bro.
Show.
Great.
It's a show.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Paradise.
That's crazy. Hold up.
Oh my God. Are we talking about oh my God, we're talking about two different things.
Yeah. You haven't seen this one?
No.
Bro, this shit is fucking fire. Hey, quick rundown of this shit.
Hold on. Okay, give me the rundown.
The concept of this one is you can sell years of your time to a company and they'll give you money. So you can be like, you're what, 30? Yeah. You're 33?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be like, hey, here's 10 years. So now you're going to be 43, but here's $250,000.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the whole concept is the rich obviously have it. And this lady, her house ends up getting burned down and they can't pay the insurance claim money no more. So she had mortgaged 50 years of her life as collateral.
Okay. Interesting.
And it comes out to, you know what I mean?
Man, so that's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy because this is what I'm talking about. The show Paradise on Hulu, bro.
Is this about a lawyer?
Nah, it's about Sterling K. Brown plays it. He's the Secret Service. He protects James Marsden. Okay. James Marsden, who's the president.
Okay.
First episode, the president gets assassinated though.
Contract done.
Well, no, he's in the whole episode through flashbacks and stuff.
Well, yeah.
So they're doing flashbacks to explain how they got to that point and stuff like that. But yeah, no. Without giving away too much, I mean, basically he gets accused of killing the president, and so he's suspect number one. He's trying to find out who did it. That's just the on the surface thing. What's happening, but after the first episode, the reveal of what's actually happening here is crazy.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's crazy that we both said Paradise. We're talking about
two completely different
things. One's a movie.
That's hella funny.
Anyway, what were we talking about again?
You're talking about life being one big promo. No, I'm just joking. Maintaining relationships, dating within. This is a good one, bro.
No.
Because I feel like in a certain sense, this is kind of like how athletes have that mentality. Workers in the like restaurant industry, taking a sick day or needing a mental health day.
Well, you're not able to.
You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on it? Do you feel like
days?
No, taking mental health days.
Oh,
Working on your mental health as a bartender.
I think they're necessarily 100%.
Instead of going and just taking a shot during your break and get your shit together.
Bro, let's go take a shot.
You know what I mean? It'll be out. We gotta get back.
Let's go have a shift meeting. Nah, I mean, like they're just as necessary for anybody who works in any type of industry. I think that, whether they're as accessible to us or not, it just highly depends on who you work for, like what type of environment you work for. Because the other day, I heard that someone took the day off at my job because they needed they called out for a mental health day, and I was like, "Wait a minute, whoa, we do that."
I just found out I had sick hours at SB2.
Everyone has sick hours.
Yeah, I was never told.
Yeah, you actually need to be on top of them for using them when you're actually sick, though. Like if you actually do call out sick because you're sick, you got to make sure they put that shit on your check.
I haven't been doing that
because usually what we'll do. You know what? This is how they get us. They'll get you because you'll find coverage for the shift, and so then they won't put the sick hours there for you.
I mean, what if they find coverage?
I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know. That's the thing. You got to be on top of them because of it. I'll be honest. I don't do the best job checking if my sick hours come into my checks, but I don't even use it that much. I don't look at having sick hours as like, something like, oh man, like I got sick hours, like, well, I get to use them. I
mean, but you earn them though.
You do earn them, yeah. But it's like, but would I rather have that or would I rather be at work?
Making the bread?
Yeah. So that's the whole crux of the situation, right? Like we'd rather be at work getting the tip. No, but when I'm actually sick though.
You want the whole thing?
I need that.
Need all 40?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends too, because it depends on the season, right? If you call off on a week in the summertime, that weekend money is going to make up for whatever money you'd have made on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, right?
Right.
But on a fucking end of January leading into February,
yeah,
you call off that 2 weeks.
I just think the sick days don't really work for us.
They don't, bro.
It's like, I mean, no one I know cares about, the amount of sick days you get or how many sick hours they've accumulated. Because chances are they're not going to really use them. Or they're not going to really,
I never thought about that, bro. Like as far as you not being able to use sick hours because they find someone to cover you.
Right.
I wonder if I'm calling out sick and I can't come to my shift.
Yeah. If we're going to do that, can I want my request days off? I use the sick day hours.
It's illegal as fuck.
It's illegal as fuck. Oh, you can't do that. So when can I use these sick hours?
I see what you're saying. It's a loophole in our industry.
It is. I would implore anyone to ask.
I feel it
about it. You should probably ask about it since you like bothering them about shit. Because I don't like asking too many questions at my job. I mean, I guess I could ask them. I mean, me and my bosses are cool. Where I was like, hey, yo, I'm not like I give a shit, but I just had a discussion with somebody. What's the deal with my sick hours? Like, so when do I get to use them?
When you're sick.
When can I use my sick hour, bro? Can I lie about being sick if I request time off and then I say, hey, dude, guess what? On my time off, I got sick. Is it too late?
We're talking about you requested time off.
Yeah.
And then now, yeah, what the fuck? I thought you meant like, bro, you have a trip planned and you're like, I can't come in this week. I'm feeling sick.
Yeah. Wait, well, if I have a trip planned and I took the week off, they approved it. And now I got sick.
No.
What if I said, hey, JK?
You'd have to plan the trip without them knowing and you're still on the schedule and then you just have to show up sick. Or you just have to, quote unquote, be sick that Monday and be like, can't come in. Like use my PTO for a week and then you go on your vacation. You can't post about your vacation, but you can have a good time.
No, right? You can't post about it. So that's such bullshit. That's like, because I feel like every other person could just like use their fucking shit without.
You know what's even more fucked up? I feel like hospitality workers, we deserve PTO. Well, I mean, everybody deserve is a strong word. But PTO, bro, for the amount of labor that...
But how do you justify how much you get paid on
Let me tell you this, bro. Do you know how much money I brought in for SB2 in the year of 2024?
Probably a lot.
Little under 400,000. That was my year-to-date sales.
How much did you get of that?
Shit. my tips on that on average was probably like 17%. From that, after tip out and then splitting up, I probably got maybe a cool 2%.
Damn. See, I don't even like to think about it like that.
I do, because everything's numbers, bro, and I need to get mine. That's why my longevity in this shit.
True, but
it's gonna be there.
But does that make it? That's does that make you feel better though, knowing that, or
it lets me know my place and lets me know who the fuck I'm dealing with. You know what I mean?
How's that made a difference with them looking at you as someone they can schedule on a regular though? Has that helped you in the negotiation, or?
I don't care about it no more because I see the bigger picture.
Okay.
Like, boom, the shit happened with the scheduling. We got it handled, on to the next. But I'm not sitting here like, I want to be a part of the team. Like, if nothing else, my seniority and my longevity has placed me in that spot. You know what I mean?
As it should.
Now it's it's literally my spot to fuck up. So I'm just out the way cut. You know what I mean? I'm grandfathered into a solid position.
And you got to stay on top of it apparently, because they'll try to pull the fucking old.
But the difference is, it's one of those scheduling. Like facts, yes. But like as far as knowledge and trying to like keep up with all, bro, like you tested me on shit that's right up my alley. You know what I mean? You want me to succeed in shit that I'm already doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I said, ain't gonna get a reason. I'm gonna just be here, build my business, cook the bag, keep it pushing, bro. Because 1% of 400,000 is crazy work.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's probably like 2 or 3% because that's what 1% is like 4,000. Now I probably got like a cool 10% in tips, 40,000 in a year though. Out of 400K, that's crazy work, bro.
That's good a lot. I don't want to know how much I made.
So that's why I said going back to being given PTO. Like, bro, if I brought in 400,000 in sales, like, do I not get any type of PTO, any type of bonus, any type of reward? Because any other sales company, any other those departments, those are recognized. Right, but it's because it's hospitality, like. Oh, bro, this isn't your liquor that you're.
Yeah, no, it's not.
We would sell it anyways.
So that was gonna be my argument to you, is that either that's your 400,000 or some other bartender's 400,000.
No, I don't think it's necessarily. It's my 400,000 or some other bartender's 300,000.
Or some other bartender's 500,000. I mean,
I'll feel it.
I don't know.
And those bartenders that are at 500,000 are doing better shit. Because there's a reason why you sell a lot, bro. Right. Either you got a capability to deal with high volume, or you just turnover. Or it could be a lot of other variables that are provided by or not provided by the bar you work at. You know, like, are you being set up for success as much as you could be? Probably not. I'm just assuming. I'm not an SPT. I'm set up for success like a motherfucker. Okay. Like, I'm solid with that. Like, I walk in there and get my shit done. You know what I mean? Right. Well, I guess whole point of that would be to just say, like, I think it's easier for a bar to turn around like and shoot that down. I could shoot that down at anybody and be like, well, you know. Like, well, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be a must, but it's one of those, like, bro, show your employees you give a fuck. Like, you know how hard I had to, like, whether my 400,000 is somebody else's 500,000 or 300,000, either way, you know the amount of work that we had to put in to generate those sales. Right. You know what I mean? Whether some other bartender somebody still had to make hundreds of fucking drinks. Thousands and thousands of drinks. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm right there with you. I would love some PTO too. Even if nothing else, like, I remember I was talking to homie about this, like, imagine having like a once in a month spa day or a fucking mental health day where you. And there are bars that do reward their bartenders and show that they're appreciated in a lot of different other ways, and not the same way as like necessarily it doesn't have to be monetary, bro. Well, I mean, or time off in that regard, but like what you're saying does happen. I haven't experienced it. Yeah. Like, because it doesn't. I mean, you know, it does happen. And I've been at 3 different places. Like, right. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, you need to get into a place where you're appreciated, my guy. Like, I need to get the homie to open up a bar. I know, shit. Hire me, or I need to just open up a bar and hire the homie. Yeah, because I could look at just any manager or any bar owner just looking at you like, and it's like fucking Don Draper said on Mad Men, like, that's what the money's for. Yeah, you know? You're not wrong. You are not wrong, my guy. Shit, what's good? I mean, that's a perfect this is a perfect transition.
Oh, no, is it?
Perfect transition, bro.
Perfect transition.
Giving too much energy to work with little reward. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. He's like, I was waiting for this one.
This is perfect. You know what I mean? So now, do we get...
And you're the one who brought this up earlier when we were talking about it, too. You're like...
Bro, because it's one of those, like...
I 100% agree with you on this one.
Like, do we get... What do you call it? Do we get trapped in this cycle of overperforming without real incentives?
All the time.
And I feel like that happens for people that are new. They get caught in this, I'm trying to do the most, get my name. Then once you get settled, you're like, what the fuck?
That's what the new people are for, though. Like, you get new people so you can have people to do that. You ain't going to ask me to do that. Like, I'll admit that even when I've been new, especially when I've been new, you know, I'll give them that new, like, you know, hey, you know, like, let me be a little this, and I'll
play the game.
I'll play the game just a little bit, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm done now. Like, I don't need to save it for the new people. Like,
so how do you set boundaries to avoid burnout while maintaining professionalism?
Called the bare minimum.
I feel that. No, but
that sounds really bad when I say it, but
you know, hey, your bare minimum could be somebody's maximum.
Right. Here's the thing about the bare minimum is like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think we're taught too much to like, you know, man, like excel at this so you can get this promotion and so you can do this and that. And that works in a lot of other places.
Yeah. Not in our industry.
Not so much because like
what am I gonna do? Move from bartender 1 to bartender 2?
Or bartender 2 to bartender 1.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or you fuck around and get yourself some responsibility. Maybe you get a clipboard or something. Or maybe you gotta come in at 6 a.m. on Monday to do inventory.
That's dope.
You know.
Here's an extra 150 every 2 weeks.
I mean, nothing wrong, no shade for people who do want to move up and excel and stuff like that. Or, but you just got to understand what your goals are, I think, and you just got to be realistic with yourself. And you know, is doing more work of this going to get me where I want to be? And the short answer is no, and it should be really quickly. You should be able to realize that.
Yeah.
Then don't waste that energy. Don't waste your energy. I wouldn't say don't waste your time because it's like you're still going to get paid for your time and that's still going to compensate you in that regard.
Yeah.
But don't waste your energy because we need that shit. You can be focusing on that shit on any other way, on any other, you know, project or any other like thing that's going to get you to where you want to be. You know? So like, you know, you giving all this energy to like, you know, SB2 you focus in on your own shit that's gonna like get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Like why would I?
And it's crazy, bro, because I remember there was a point when I was just like, man, I can't. Like, I would do anything to bartend over here.
Yeah. But there was a goal. That was the goal, you know. And it's not like, you know, like
now the vision got too broad. The vision got too broad, man. But
that's why I think it's important to like, you know, be very vocal about what your goals are to, you know, your superiors, maybe. Like,
yeah, it's one of the, man, and that's like another battle too, is being able to like, how much can I really communicate? How open is that line of communication? You know what I mean? Because shout out to like, you know what I mean? Shout out to Dom. Like that dude has always had like, like we've had an open line of communication. I've been able to,
really?
Like, you know what I mean? For sure, bro. I got nothing bad to say about Brody.
No, but he's a good guy, and he's got it out the mud like we did. Like,
you know what I mean? So like as a GM, like bro, like
he understands,
like, and it's hard to find that because then there's that balance of like, again, now it's two-sided. Now if it's like you force somebody's hand, that's on you. You know what I mean? I could be the dopest manager ever, but if you do some out-of-pocket dumb shit, like, bro, this one ain't on me. This on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, then you got those GMs that like, all right, man, you put me in this fucking, I'm gonna get you out of this, bro. But like, there's gonna be some serious working on trying to figure out the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's something to be said about GMs that are like, you know, lay on the sword for you, you know, especially knowing that like, well.
But that's hard to find in this industry, bro, because that also comes down to
so many of them are so many are willing to just throw other people under the bus
for little shit.
For little shit. It's like, bro, if you just stick this on the chin, as a good GM would. No, I mean, I'm not saying like every GM should, but I mean, bro, you got this like. You know, you're the GM. You got the GM armor, bro. Like it's
cool.
It's okay, or you're gonna be okay. I mean, it might be asking a little more of you, but I guess you got to measure it out between who, like what employee it is, and you know.
again, this goes back to from before. It's a great space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes with every personality, everybody, everything. You know what I mean? Well, shit, man.
No, that goes exactly what we were saying, because it's like, you know, if you're if you're not worth it to me, then why should I, like, maybe I should just throw you under the bus if that's the case, you know?
And that's the other thing too, when somebody's falling.
But then I mean, my thing is like, what message would that send to my other employees about how I am as a manager?
I mean, second chances speak volumes, but also then there's the double-edged sword in that. Like, what's the difference between being, you know what I mean, kind and giving somebody a second chance and being a pushover?
Yeah, because I've seen people take advantage of those types of people.
You know what I mean? Like,
so at what point do you do you have to lay down the law,
and you have to at some point?
You have to. I was terrible at that. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like you
gave a lot of passes.
I gave hella passes, bro. Like, but
you get a pass. You get a pass.
But here's the thing, though. Like my thing was like I wanted to just be everyone's friend, you know. And to my fault, it.
That's the hard thing about being a manager.
It worked out. It worked out for me in the end, in the sense that like if that was what I wanted, I'm no longer in a GM anymore. I stepped down from that because I felt like I couldn't do the job as ruthless or as like, you know, as
and your friends are still your friends.
But these people are, I mean, they're not necessarily my friends, but they when I run into them and I speak to them still, like they have nothing but good things to say about me or good memories about me. This one girl named Zeba, I helped her get this job actually because she put me down as this reference, and I was her old GM. And I used to take care of her as a kid too, like at another school site.
Oh shit!
So I watched her grow up into this incredible young person. I watched them grow up into this incredible young person.
Yeah.
And now they got this promotion at Stanford Hospital. This and that. They just posted it the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, like, and I owe it all to you." And I'm like, "You don't owe me nothing." Like, I just told them the truth. I told them, they asked about your work ethic. I had to do this like whole thing on the phone and stuff like that, answering questions about them. And like, oh yeah, like, you know, like rate them 1 to 5, this and that, anything they need to work on, blah blah, this and that. And so like I did the whole thing, which I hate doing, by the way, but for them, I you know, it was the least I can do. And the fact that they think about me in that regard, like, makes me feel good.
Yeah, damn.
I'm not like that dickhead manager, like, you know, that
he's like, I care.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if no,
like, come lay your head on my shoulder. Tell me what's wrong. I'm gonna take care.
Tupac care. I don't nobody else care.
Hey, hey, man. One last thing before we get out of here.
What you got?
What's a red flag from a bar that might not be worth working at?
Any red flag?
Any red flag. You walk in and you're like, ugh.
Stickers still on the fruit. If they got stickers on the fruit, they don't wash the fruit.
Facts. Because who the fuck washes the fruit and keeps the sticker?
Yeah, on? I could have went deep into that one and been like, you know, hey, you know, if you see this and that, then that means the fucking people are being treated like slaves. Nah, if you got stickers on the fruit, they're not washing the fruit, and that's not a place you want to work. What about you?
That's fucking hilarious.
What about you? Red flag.
A red flag.
You walking into an interview, you walking in, you know, and like you're like, hey, can I have a seat over here? Your manager will be with you in a second. You've been waiting for like 10, 12 minutes. You know how the deal goes. The manager comes out, this and that. It's like, okay, he's just looking at your resume for the first time. He didn't look at it in the back. He's like, okay, so you know, tell me about yourself. And he doesn't give a fuck. He needs to just fill the position.
Bro, to be honest, like if
you're at a Chili's,
you see, and I wouldn't be at a Chili's.
You're inside of a Chili's, bro. Like he just needs a body. He's like, you're not on drugs, right? You're warm. You can stand for more than fucking, you know, 6 hours.
Bro, a red flag for me is just gonna be like if I walk in and I'm just like, I don't respect you.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just
like the manager?
Yeah, 100%. Because then I know that like, oh, bro, you're about to get such a shitty version of me. Like,
yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And then if also, I don't respect you, then you're just this. What are we're just.
But then here's the other side. Here's the other side of that too. With me not be like, and you can usually kind of tell that like based off energy when you first, you know what I mean? How somebody shakes your hand, how you know what I mean? How y'all sit down, like questions they ask or whatnot. But that also leads me to believe that like you have a problem being consistent with how you, man. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that also comes to it. Like if I talk to you and it's like you're overly friendly, like, you know, like you're too welcoming. Like I can tell that y'all haven't dealt with anybody with my experience. And I know that I have no experience compared to like what's out there.
Yeah, no. I 100% know.
I'm like, there's not a system in place here.
Like this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, no, this is like I'm already gonna find shit that I'm gonna find a problem with. Perfect example, bro. I worked at this place called Spice Club in what is this? Cupertino? I think.
Spice Club?
Yeah. It's a modern Indian fusion. Cool ass concept, fire ass food. But they're trying to do this new thing. But anyways, like their tip structure was fucked up. They were trying to pay under the table. They weren't, you know what I mean?
Oh, they're closed.
I bet they are.
Spice Club with a K? Yeah, they're gone, bro.
They done?
Yeah.
That makes sense, bro.
That surprise you?
Nah, bro, because like all the workers there besides me were all fucking from Nepal. And they were all paying them under the table. All the tips, the owners were keeping a lot of the tips. The cooks in the kitchen were getting a lot of the tips from drinks and shit. You know what I mean?
Really?
And you were getting like it was bad. But I say all that to say I should have known when I first got there. And the owners were talking to me like, yeah, make it old fashioned. Like you asking me questions because you think it's some crazy shit. But I'm like, bro, you told me to write the letter A.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh man, that's a crazy ass A,
Damn.
bro. I should have known, but at that time, like I was just trying to build my resume up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I guess it would be a red flag now, but it wasn't then. I guess that's a little bit more detailed than a sticker on the fruit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm glad you had the detailed answer because like I wanted to keep mine very much on the surface as far as like a little red flag like that. But you make a good point, and I agree with you. If I go into a job interview and you know I see shit like that, or I see like if I get a whiff that the culture is shit, then I'm probably not gonna go through with it.
Cause culture is big, bro.
Or like I mean, especially if I need the job, like you know, I'm thinking like as like a side part 2 job.
Oh, 100%. I mean, but even as a part 1, you like if you can't fit in the culture, you're not gonna stay there.
Nah, I've definitely been somewhere for a short period of time where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop showing up, and I stopped showing up, bro.
Yeah, just fade to black.
Yeah, but then I met hella cool people there too, and that I still talk to this day. You know, shout out to my boy Lambert.
Shout out.
He still works there too. He's the manager. I love this guy, bro.
That's hella funny. Where's that?
That's the Hilton.
The Hilton.
Santa Clara. Hilton Santa Clara, bro.
Shit.
I got a job there.
Hey, you see some weird ass shit there?
At the Hilton?
Yeah. I heard like...
Not so much, no.
Nah? I guess it depends on the city.
It's weird though. They were union, bro. Like they had all these rules and shit. I was a server there. I wasn't even a bartender, bro. Like, but I was a bartender. I just needed a job for like.
Oh, okay. You weren't front desk.
Nah, I was just like serving, taking tables and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But the money was I don't know. It was something to it. Like it was like the fact that I didn't give a fuck about it so much.
That's why it was so dope.
It was because me and the head chef were like doing blow, like you know, so, like I got too comfortable there, and like once he like. Yeah, man. I remember
that's a different level.
I remember I pulled up one day and then like, you know, just deciding like this is gonna be my last day, just leaving and never coming back.
Yeah, it just never came back.
Never came back, bro.
That's hella funny.
Yeah, I love that.
We're gonna have a 2-coin conference at the Hilton.
I've thought about doing that recently too, though. I just don't have like the time and the means to like, you know, go through the hiring process and leaving the job. I had it. Okay, I'll tell the story and then I'll just leave.
Easy.
So me and my buddy. Back when we were like delinquents, we were servers at Maggiano's, and we were like, this is back when we were just doing whatever. And we had an idea, like, because Maggiano's was real competitive as far as like the staff that was there and like, you know, people that were there and stuff like that. But, you know, we're all like good servers. So we had an idea like, okay, what if we got jobs at like Applebee's? Both of us just got hired there. And then, like, you know, we lay low for a couple weeks. Then we start going out with the staff there. We start identifying who the toughest dudes are there. We whoop their ass, and then and then we just start like fucking just yeah.
Nah, you got to keep this going. No. You can't start with that.
I just remember what the goal was here.
So what was the goal?
The goal was just to fucking like just
squabble up with the toughest dude at Applebee's.
The toughest dudes and just start like, you know.
You just want to start shit at Applebee's.
Fucking with the girls there. just to because I remember because we got tired with the pool at Maggiano's in Santana Row, so we were like, we got to take this game on the road, but we're not trying to invest too much and we're also trying to keep these jobs too.
That's how. So y'all just randomly went up to Applebee's?
No, we didn't do it. We ended up going through it, but we should have though because it would have been super easy.
That's hella funny.
I think we were out of Applebee's too when we had this discusone, or at Chili's. And
this
dude
told me a story about a pump fake.
They're like, there's some low-key baddies here, bro. And it's like, man, like
which Applebee's?
The one at Saratoga. There's like,
I know it ain't the one at the plant.
There's some low-key baddies here, and it's like, I know, there's no fucking rooster in this head house, bro. So it's like, if we come in here and invest and just fucking start running shit, then
change the whole game up.
Bro.
Take it down one Applebee's at a time. Who knows? Expand the Hooters.
Yeah. I'm still big on this theory for young servers. If you want to do, if you're in fine dining and you want to just expand outside your pool of people at work, or you maybe just don't want to bang your coworkers, then
go to Applebee's.
I highly recommend. Highly recommend a franchise like Buffalo Wild Wings.
If you get your reset on.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Where we should go.
And I feel like that's a good time to end it.
Yes.
But yeah, man, good shit. You feel me?
Always.
Sorry for your loss, my boy. Prayers out to your grandma.
That's all good. And, I mean, thank you. It's not all good, but I mean,
Nah, I got you. But yeah, man, it's your boy Ronnie.
It's your boy Joewell.
And we signing out. Yeah. He said, yeah, it's all good.